Hey guys, it's Britt, and I was inspired to do a video by Steve over at the Law Gnome, and I will link that video up above here. But it is my top 10 most emotional moments in film. Before I talk about the official list, I have three honorable mentions. So, honorable mention number one is The Secret of NIMH. In particular, the moment where she has where the main character, Mrs. Frisbee, has an encounter with this other character, Nicodemus, and she learns about her husband's passing, how his death happened. Number two is not a very good film, but I wanted to include it anyway just because I found the story overall enjoyable, and so while it wasn't technically a good film, I wanted to include it. So, Pandemic. It stars Alfie Allen, and so Alfie Allen has been in some pretty bad movies, but this one, he has a way of bringing life to characters that would lack life if he wasn't included. And I think this scene in a car where they're just talking about life in a zombie apocalypse is really, really fantastic. And number three is The Maze Runner, the Scorch Trials film. Spoiler alert for the Scorch Trials. If you have not seen the Scorch Trials and you want to, wait till I put my finger down. It is the scene where Winston kills himself. And the nature of the foreshadowing aspect of that film, of that scene, gets me. It hits me right in the honey nut Felios. Alright. So now that the honorable mentions are out of the way, here are my top 10. The number one is the only scene that I will not be linking to because it shook me to my very, very core. And I do not want to include that scene, and I don't even think it will be on YouTube. It is a Japanese film, and it is Noriko no Shokutaku. And it's Noriko's dinner table. And the scene in question is a man stepping on newborn puppies to kill them. So, yeah, not linking that, but yeah. On a happier note, How to Train Your Dragon. There are so many emotional moments that I could include during this film, but for me, some of the most emotional, impactful scenes are actually the ones that are otherwise silent or that don't need dialogue to make an impact. So I decided to go with Forbidden Friendship. I think that's the name of the scene, or at least that's the name of the musical score associated with that scene. And it is the scene where Hiccup really starts to form a friendship with Toothless, the dragon. Number three is John Wick. As you guys know, one of my favorite films of all time, but the emotional moment that I am picking from John Wick is a moment between Yosef and Vigo. Vigo is the father, Yosef is the son, and it's a really great moment because it gives you all of John's backstory that is necessary for the film within like no longer than 3 or 4 minutes, and it's fantastic. The actors in that film are all fantastic, and go watch John Wick. Do yourself a favor. Number 4. Regardless of how you feel about this movie, I really liked it, and it is Jurassic World. In particular, the scene where the killer birds escape. I don't know if they're technically pterodactyls or whatever they are, but the scene where Claire's little employee gets to be a dinosaur chow, that dropped my jaw. I was not expecting that, and I really should have, in a Jurassic Park movie, expected that, but I wasn't, and so that one shook me up a little bit. Okay. Number 5 is Spirit, Stallion of the Cimarron, another DreamWorks film that really affected me emotionally, and it's the scene where there's a lot of emotional moments, as is with most of these films, but I picked the scene where Sound the Bugle starts to play because, man, that gets me every single time. Number 6 is The Hunger Games Mockingjay, and the emotional scene that I picked is from part 2. And spoiler alert, if you haven't seen that, here, just wait for my finger to go down. It's the scene where Finnick dies. Finnick is one of my favorite characters, and he died so quickly in the book that we really didn't get to see a chance to mourn him, but the film made him go out like a badass, so yeah. Okay, number 7, Jurassic Park. Not any particular dinosaur eating people moment, but the scene where they first enter the park and the theme starts playing, I think that is such a great moment. Number 8 is definitely not a good film, but it is definitely full of emotion, and not the emotion that you would expect. I am, of course, talking about Wicker Man, the Nick Cage movie. There was a movie without Nick Cage, and that one also wasn't very good, but Nick Cage brings an interesting performance to anything that he is in, and I am talking about the "Why did it burn? Why is it burned?" scene. It's great. Of course, you could always watch the "Not the bees that are in my eyes" scene, but for this little top 10 emotional moments, I'm going with the "Why did it burn? Why is it burned?" scene. Number 9, Star Wars Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith. Say what you will about this movie, but it has some pretty good emotional moments, and Hayden Christensen and Natalie Portman certainly did the best they could with what they were given, and once again, the scene that I am going to link is a scene without dialogue, and it is the scene where Anakin where he's in the Jedi Temple and he's crying, and Padme is in her home and she's looking out the window and she's watching everything go down, and they're both just crying, and it's such an emotional moment, and I think it's really underappreciated in the Star Wars franchise as a whole. So yeah. And number 10, I wasn't going to include this because Disney is usually on copyright and fair use, but I couldn't not include it, and it's Moana. In particular, the scene where she is meeting with her grandmother on the ocean, and I've seen that movie a couple times, and that scene always gets me. That movie is beautiful, the animation is beautiful, and that is such a great scene. Not to mention the wonderful, beautiful musical score. But anyway, guys, that is my top 10 most emotional moments in film. Let me know what you guys what your top 10 emotional moments in film are, and I'll see you guys in the next video. I love you. Bye.